Dollar cost averaging is the idea of investing the same amount of money in mutual funds at regular intervals, usually monthly. It is an important concept in the real world, one that you will need to make sure you can explain to many clients. The purpose is it will lower the average cost per share to be less than the average price per share. The average price per share is found simply by taking all of the prices that we paid and then adding them together, dividing by the total number of prices, and we look at that number. That is the average price per share. We will look at examples shortly. The average cost per share, though, is found by taking the total cost, that is all of the money invested over the period of time, and dividing by the total number of shares, all of the shares that we purchased with that money over that time. Any phrase that involves the word per almost always is a division problem. That can help us remember what we have to divide: cost per share or price per share. So let's look at an example. Let's say that we have a client that wants to invest $100 a month, and the mutual fund we are looking at for them is currently at $25 a share. So in the first month, the client invests $100 and they purchase 4 shares of stock at $25 each. The following month, the share price increases to $28.14. So they are going to purchase 3.55366 shares. In the future, we're going to round these. This is used best with mutual funds, as they can easily purchase fractional shares. The next month, the stock went up again and went to $31.34 a share. So the client bought roughly 3.19 shares. Went up again, $33.50, so now they're purchasing roughly 2.9 shares. The next month, the mutual fund declines to $32.95, and 3.03 and change shares are purchased. Finally, the mutual fund increases again to $34.25, so 2.9 rounded shares are purchased. We purchase shares at 25, 28.14, 31.34, 33.5, 32.95, along with 34.25, for a total of $185.18. We had 6 total prices we purchased at, so dividing by 6, the average price is $30.86 that we paid on those 6 times. We also spent $600, 6 months, $100 a month. We purchased 4, 3.5, 3.19, 2.98, 3.03, and roughly 2.92, again rounding in these cases, for a total of 19.68415 shares. So the average cost per share is $600 divided by 19.68415 for a total average cost of $30.48. That is 38 cents less than the average price. If we graph those prices, we see that that is a mostly up market. What if the market does something different? Let's say again the market starts at $25 and we are again investing $100 a month. In the first month, we again purchase 4 shares, but the following month the price drops to 22. So we buy 4.5 and change shares. Then it goes to 23.25. We purchase 4.3 and change. Then it drops again to 18.5, 18.50, and we purchase more shares, now 5.4 shares. Price drops again to 17 and a quarter. So we purchase even more shares, this time is roughly 5.79 shares. And finally drops a little more to 17. So we purchase a few more shares, this time 5.88 shares and change. Doing the same thing as before, we purchased at 6 times, 6 prices. We purchased at $25, 22, 23 and a quarter, 18.50, 17 and a quarter, 17 for a total of $123. Divide that by 6 and we get $20.50, which is the average price that we paid. We also purchased 4, roughly 4.5, 4.3, 5.4, 5.79, and 5.88 shares at each of those times when we made those purchases, for a total of 29.93139 shares. Dividing the $600 cost by those 29.93139 shares gets us the average cost per share of $20.05, saving 45 cents over the average price per share. Looking at that graph, we see that is a mostly downward graph, downward market, and dollar cost averaging works there too. There is one more type of market, and that is a flat market. Let's say the stock again starts at $25, then moves to $23.95, so we buy more shares. Then it goes to $25.75, so we buy fewer shares. Then it goes to $24.32, and we again buy more shares. Drops to $23.35, so we buy more shares again. And finally it rises to $25.75, and so we buy fewer shares. We can tell by the graph it's going up and down, staying around the same value. We purchased at $25, $23.95, $25.75, $24.32, $23.35, and $25.75, coming to a total of $148.12, with a total of 6 purchases, so our average price is $24.69. We purchased 4, roughly 4.17, 3.88, 4.11, 4.28, and 3.88 shares, for a total of 24.33685 shares for that $600 we invested. Dividing $600 by 24.33685 finds that our average cost per share was $24.65. Only saves us 4 cents over the average price, but a savings is a savings. You may be asked to calculate on a smaller scale the average price, the average cost, or the savings between them. Remember, the average price is found by taking all of the prices that we paid, adding all of the prices together, and then dividing by the number of prices that we purchased at. It's the same kind of average as you would get if you find the average height or the average age of a group. You sum them all up, and you divide by the total number of people. The average cost per share is found by taking the total amount invested, which is usually the monthly investment, multiplied by the number of months, divided by the total number of shares that we purchased over that time period. Make sure you do pay attention to the question, whether it's asking about the average price or the average cost, or potentially the savings between them.